The Good Conduct Medal is one of the oldest military awards of the United States Armed Forces. The U.S. Navy's variant of the Good Conduct Medal was established in 1869, the Marine Corps version in 1896, the Coast Guard version in 1923, the Army version in 1941, and the Air Force version in 1963. The Air Force Good Conduct Medal was discontinued from February 2006 to February 2009. Criteria. The criteria for a Good Conduct Medal is defined by Executive Orders 8809, 9323, and 10444. The medal is awarded to any active duty enlisted member of the United States military who completes 3 consecutive years of honorable and faithful service. Such service implies that a standard enlistment was completed without any non-judicial punishment, disciplinary infractions, or court-martial offenses. If a service member commits an offense, the 3-year mark resets, and a service member must perform an additional 3 years of service without having to be disciplined before the good conduct may be authorized. During times of war, the Good Conduct Medal may be awarded for 1 year of faithful service. The Good Conduct Medal may also be awarded posthumously to any service member killed in the line of duty. Reserve components. Service for the Good Conduct Medal must be performed on active duty. It is not awarded to enlisted members of the military reserve and National Guard. For reserve duty, the various services have established separate reserve Good Conduct Medals, albeit under various names, as a comparable award available to enlisted reserve and National Guard members who satisfactorily perform annual training, drill duty, and any additional active duty of less than 3 consecutive years duration. The exception is the Navy Reserve, which discontinued the award as of the 1st of January 2014. Navy reservists now earn time towards the Navy Good Conduct Medal, and any time previously earned towards an unawarded Naval Reserve Meritorious Service Medal is automatically carried over to the Navy Good Conduct Medal. Navy Good Conduct Medal. The Navy Good Conduct Medal is the oldest Good Conduct Medal, dating back to the 26th of April 1869. There have been a total of 4 versions of the Navy Good Conduct Medal, the first version of which was issued from 1870 to 1884. The original Navy Good Conduct Medal was also not worn on a uniform, but issued with discharge papers as a badge to present during re-enlistment. A sailor in the Navy received a new Good Conduct Medal for each honorable enlistment completed. The second version of the Navy Good Conduct Medal was issued between 1880 and 1884. The medal was considered a transitional decoration, and was the first of the Good Conduct Medals to be worn on a uniform. The medal was phased out by 1885 and a new medal issued between 1885 and 1961. The new medal was a Good Conduct medallion suspended from an all-red ribbon. Enlistment bars denoting each honorable enlistment completed were pinned on the ribbon as attachments. There was slight oddity during the Spanish-American War when the Navy created the Specially Meritorious Service Medal, which also had an all-red suspension and service ribbon. There were recorded cases of Navy enlisted personnel who were awarded both the Good Conduct Medal and the Specially Meritorious Service Medal who wore 2 red service ribbons on the Navy service uniforms. This is one of the rare times in the history of U. military awards. The two awards had identical ribbons. The current Navy Good Conduct Medal dates from 1961 and is issued to every active duty enlisted sailor who completes 3 years of honorable and faithful service since the 1st of January 1996. 4 years of service were required since the 1st of November 1963. Additional awards of the Navy Good Conduct Medal are denoted by bronze and silver 3/16" stars. Silver stars are worn in place of 5 bronze ones. The reverse side of the medal has 3 words, fidelity, zeal, obedience, superimposed in a semicircle. Upon 12 years of honorable and faithful service, sailors are also allowed to wear a gold-colored version of the petty officer insignia, something usually seen with those with the rank of Chief Petty Officer or Petty Officer First Class and above, but occasionally Petty Officer Second Class. It is extremely rare in today's Navy, but provisions do allow for Petty Officer Third Class to wear gold ranks provided they meet the same requirements. Marine Corps Good Conduct Medal. The Marine Corps Good Conduct Medal was established on the 20th of July 1896. The medal was originally a ribbon and medal suspended from a clasp bearing the words U.S. Marine Corps. The clasp was eliminated after 1935 and the medal has remained unchanged in appearance since that time. Since its inception in 1896, the name of the recipient was engraved by hand on the reverse side of the medal until stamping the name on the medal began during World War II and was done completely by 1951. Prior to the 10th of December 1945, 4 years of honorable creditable enlisted service was required in the Marine Corps for award of the Marine Corps Good Conduct Medal. After the 10th of December 1945, the required period of service was reduced to 3 years. Since that latter date, members of the Marine Corps must have 3 consecutive years of honorable and faithful service in order to be eligible for the medal. In 1953, the Marine Corps adopted bronze and silver 3/16" service stars to denote additional awards of the Good Conduct Medal, replacing enlistment bars showing each honorable period of service. Coast Guard Good Conduct Medal. The Coast Guard Good Conduct Medal was designed in 1923 and originally used enlistment bars as attachments, in the same manner as the Marine Corps and Navy Good Conduct Medals. In 1966, the Coast Guard began using bronze and silver 3/16" service stars to denote additional awards of the Coast Guard Good Conduct Medal. Army Good Conduct Medal. The Army Good Conduct Medal was established by Executive Order 8809, dated the 28th of June 1941, and authorized the award for soldiers completing 3 years active service after that date. The criteria were amended by Executive Order 9323, dated the 31st of March 1943, to authorize the award for candidates having 3 years of service after the 7th of December 1941 or 1 year of service while the United States is at war. Executive Order 10444, dated the 10th of April 1953, revised the criteria to authorize the award for candidates having 3 years of service after the 27th of August 1940, 1 year of service after the 7th of December 1941 while the United States is at war, and for candidates having the first award for service after the 27th of June 1950 upon termination of service, for periods less than 3 years but more than 1 year. The medal was designed by Mr. Joseph Kiselewski and approved by the Secretary of War on the 30th of October 1942. The eagle, with wings spread, denotes vigilance and superiority. The horizontal sword denotes loyalty. The book represents knowledge acquired and ability gained. On the reverse, the Lone Star denotes merit. The wreath of laurel and oak leaves denotes reward and strength. The second and subsequent awards are indicated by the wear of the clasp with loops on the ribbon. Bronze clasps indicate the 2nd through 5th award. Silver clasps indicate 6th through 10th award, and gold clasps indicate 11th through the 15th award. The Good Conduct Medal is awarded for exemplary behavior, efficiency, and fidelity in active federal military service. It is awarded on a selective basis to each soldier who distinguishes himself/herself from among his/her fellow soldiers by their exemplary conduct, efficiency, and fidelity throughout a specified period of continuous enlisted active federal military service. Qualifying periods of service include each 3 years completed after the 27th of August 1940 or, for first award only, upon completion of at least 1 year upon termination of service if separated prior to 3 years. Also for the first award only, for those individuals who died before completing 1 year of active federal military service if the death occurred in the line of duty. The immediate commander must approve the award and the award must be announced in permanent orders. Air Force Good Conduct Medal. The Air Force Good Conduct Medal is the last version of the Good Conduct Medal. The medal was authorized by Congress on the 6th of July 1960, but not created until the 1st of June 1963. Air Force personnel were issued the Army Good Conduct Medal between 1947 and 1963, and for those serving both before and after 1963, the Army and Air Force Good Conduct Medals could be worn simultaneously on an Air Force uniform. The Air Force version is the same as the Army version, except that the suspension and service ribbons for the medals are different for each medal. The Air Force Good Conduct Medal has remained unchanged in appearance since its original design over 40 years ago. Additional awards of the Air Force Good Conduct Medal are denoted by bronze of silver oak leaf clusters. The criteria for award of the Air Force Good Conduct Medal are as follows. It is awarded to Air Force enlisted personnel during a 3-year period of active military service or for a 1-year period of service during a time of war. Airmen awarded this medal must have had character and efficiency ratings of excellent or higher throughout the qualifying period, including time spent in attendance at service schools, and there must have been no convictions of court-martial or non-judicial punishment during this period. In October 2005, the 97th Air Force Uniform Board met and considered discontinuing the Good Conduct Medal with the rationale that good conduct of airmen is the expected standard, not an exceptional occurrence worthy of recognition. The decision was finalized on the 8th of February 2006 and the medal was no longer issued. Airmen who had previously earned the Good Conduct Medal were still authorized to wear it. By May 2008, however, Air Force officials began reconsidering the policy. On the 11th of February 2009, the medal was reinstated and made retroactive to the 8th of February 2006, with all eligible recipients being awarded the medal automatically.